John Kasich warns of Donald Trump's, quote, path to darkness, end quote. Ohio Governor John Kasich argued Tuesday that this presidential election offers voters two paths, one of which, quote, could drive America down into a ditch, not make us great again, end quote. It is an unveiled slap at frontrunner Donald Trump. Quote, some who feed off the fears and angers that is felt by some of us and exploit it feed their own insatiable desires for fame and attention. That could drive America down into a ditch, not make us great again, end quote. Kasich warned in a prepared speech from the Women's National Republican Club in New York. Kasich never mentioned Donald Trump by name, but it's abundantly clear that he was referring to his billionaire opponent. He said Trump's political strategy is based on exploiting Americans instead of lifting them up. He will indefinitely lead to divisions, paranoia, isolations, and promises that he could never, ever be fulfilled, end quote. He called some of his proposals offered by his rivals disturbing and slammed politicians who have made promises to voters based on polling or what was politically beneficial. Kasich blasted his opponents for the nasty personal attacks they have engaged in throughout the campaign and defended his decision to run a positive campaign. I have stood on the stage and watched with amazement as candidates wallowed in the mud, viciously attacked one another, called each other liars, and disparaged on each other's character, end quote, Kasich said. Quote, those who continuously push that type of behavior are not worthy of the office that they are seeking, end quote. He slammed policy ideas from both of his GOP opponents during the course of the speech. Quote, we have heard proposals to create a religious test for immigrations, to target neighborhoods for surveillance, impose draconian tariffs, which would crush trade and destroy American jobs, end quote, Kasich said. The idea that Muslim neighborhoods would be targeted for surveillance was a proposal espoused by Ted Cruz after the bombing in Brussels. And Cruz also proposed that Muslim Syrian refugees would be denied entry to the United States, but that Christian refugees should be allowed in. He summed up Trump's foreign policy proposals in a single line. Quote, we have heard proposals to drop out of NATO, abandon Europe to Russia, possibly use nuclear weapons in Europe, end our defense partnerships in Asia, and tell our Middle Eastern allies that they have to go it alone. End quote. Kasich, the former chairman of the House Budget Committee, also mocked Trump's and Cruz mythology for trimming federal spending. Quote, we have been offered hollow promises to impose a value-added tax, balance budgets through the simple and whimsical cuts in fraud, waste, and abuse, end quote. The VAT has been used to describe Cruz's plan, and Trump's first answer to balancing the budget has generally been to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. Kasich described his own plan as steep, well-trod, and solid, one based on increased economic growth spurred by a balanced budget plan and temporary freeze on most federal regulations.